Good morning, everyone. Welcome to, whoa, okay, sorry. That was just to wake up anybody who was napping. Welcome to Interfaith Community Sanctuary. I'm a little afraid to hold this too close, okay. All right, thank you, Bryce. Welcome to Interfaith Community Sanctuary on this beautiful spring morning. Spring has sprung. How does it go? Spring has sprung. The bird, the flowers is. Spring has sprung, the grass is riz. I wonder where the flowers is. Oh, well, I never used to allow my students to say that because it has bad English in it, but it's okay. We like it anyway. So yes, we're here together at Interfaith Community Sanctuary. My name is Sally Joe. I'm one of the co-ministers here, along with Jamal Rahman, who is off representing our community in another church community this morning. I'm not sure which one, but one of the local churches has invited Jamal to speak. So we gave him a leave of absence today for doing that for us and spreading the word of Interfaith Community Sanctuary. So welcome, and glad to have you all here this morning. And I'm going to ring the bell so we all know that service has started. And thank you to all those who are out there online listening this morning. And we like to open with some opening offerings, and I think Steve is going to set the mood here with a little bit of flute music, and original flute music. And by way of introducing Steve, he's our congregant speaker this morning, and we'll talk more about him when he begins, but he's also one of our loyal musicians who loves to offer music. So he's offering music for his service this morning, and will give us a little bit of opening music before we move on. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, Steve. Ooh, very contemplative music. I love that. Thank you. We'd like to continue by inviting and honoring our ancestors and our descendants, which is one of our opening offerings, and I'll invite Chris up here to do that for us this morning. Thank you.
Good morning. I'd like to, by way of honoring our descendants, and as I'm going to do a reading from a book by Thich Nhat Hanh and his followers at Plum Village. That's his ashram that he has in, he's passed, but it's in France, and we are, as our discernment, we're studying his book, Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet. So when I saw this book yesterday, I felt somewhat inspired. So I hope that the prayer that I found alphabetically, this is the first prayer. It's an address to our ancestors at the new year. Today is the first day of spring. For Celtic people, this would be the new year. So I'm repurposing a little bit to mention spring. So as we're listening to this, just please think about your ancestors, whether they be blood related, whether they be folks you've lived with, folks you may have read about, anyone who helped draw you to bring us together today. And then also I'd like to, as Sally Jo mentioned, our descendants, people who we impact their lives enough that they think of us as descendants and hopefully, or as ancestors. And hopefully we're doing the appropriate work to bring them into a good space. We, your descendants who are practicing in the Interfaith Community Sanctuary at the occasion of this spring season, come with sincere respect before your altar. We go back to our source and ask you, our ancestors and descendants, to be our witness. Trees have their roots and water has its source. We know that you, our ancestors, are our roots and we are your continuation. We are determined to receive your cultural and spiritual heritage, to conserve and to develop what is good, beautiful, and true in it. We are also determined to realize the aspirations that which you have handed to us, transforming your suffering and opening up for future generations the way to a peaceful, unburdensome, and meaningful life. We are determined to help build a society in which people are not always busy, where little is consumed, and there is plenty of time to live with nature, look after nature, bring happiness to, care for, and smile to each other. This is the moment when a new season begins. We promise to let go of all of our anger, sadness, and resentment, and to forgive, love, and accept each other. We know that only by doing this do we really express our feelings of gratitude and loyalty towards you. Blessed be.
What's the name of that book?
Just the book. It's going to be downstairs.
And Steve is going to honor our First Peoples.
We wish to acknowledge the land we occupy is the stolen, traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Duwamish and Shilsho tribes. We are grateful to them as the rightful past, present, and future caretakers of this beautiful land, which we do not own, but which we call home. We acknowledge the burdens they carry due to ongoing colonialism. We are very grateful for the land itself, the home of fern, vine maple, deer, beaver, mosquitoes, all those beings who were here long before us and our kin. We apologize to them all for any injustice enacted upon them. We also recognize those Black, brown, Asian, and indigenous peoples who helped build this country, but were often enslaved, exploited, or unpaid, and continue to face racism, discrimination, and now face imprisonment and possible deportation. They require liberation and reparation in the name of healing, equity, and justice. We also hold in our hearts all those who are threatened, persecuted, or even killed for their religious beliefs. We pray, one day may we see ourselves as one and treat all beings with respect and compassion as our sisters and brothers. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you both for that those offerings. And I'm going to offer a reading from the Divine Feminine, my choice of a teacher of mine, a living teacher, local living teacher, Miriam Sabah, who is writing about the seasons also, the change of seasons, and how this relates to our individual lives. Actually, and thank you for reminding us, this is New Year's in a lot of cultures, and in the Iranian culture, Friday was the first day of the spring equinox is also the Nowruz. I went to a beautiful celebration with the Iranian folks and the Baha'i people that I know in the area, and it was a wonderful celebration of the new year, which always comes also on the first day of spring. And next Sunday, you'll hear some more about the Holy Day, which also follows the New Year in the Baha'i religion, and which is connected also to the change of the season. So this is a season-changing time, and it's, for that reason, I believe, very important. After a forest fire, after so much apparent destruction, the land renews in surprising ways. Fireweed bursts into vibrant magenta blooms. Aspen and birch send up fresh shoots from roots held safe below the scorched floor. Ferns quietly resprout once the heat passes. Your heart can recover in the same way. Mistakes, regrets, or moments you wish had gone differently are not the end. They don't condemn you to heaviness. There is a restoring grace within and around you, something that continues to cover, heal, and make room for newness. Each day offers a beginning. Take a moment and start this new time with something small, like a feather-light fern unfurling or a fireweed sprout. Release what no longer serves you, even just for today, and feel the space that opens. Continue carrying this affirmation with you today. I am continually forgiven, and I give myself the grace to start anew. Today, honor the gentle resilience within you. Like fireweed, aspen, birch, and ferns, you can rise again, renewed, full of life, and ready to bloom. Amen. That's by Miriam Sabah. So, in this season of new beginnings and new ideas, we are welcoming this morning Steve Kramer, who we all know as one of our congregants. And he's going to be helping us focus on our annual discernment, which I want to talk about for a minute, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about Steve. So, as Steve mentioned, every year, we have a discernment, something we're studying deeply as a congregation, and through our different services and activities and book groups and various ways that we gather. Many of us are trying to learn and go more deeply into this book by Thich Nhat Hanh, which is called Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet, and particularly the practices and the principles and practices that are mentioned in that book, which are not, by, as Thich Nhat Hanh explains, they're not owned by Buddhism per se, and they're not really, although he is a Buddhist monk and a Buddhist teacher, this book, which is the last book he wrote before he passed on in 2022, it was meant for the whole of humanity on Earth in particular, and for our relationship to Mother Earth. And it was not meant to be a treatise about Buddhism per se. And he even instructs his monks who are teaching this book and doing retreats and studies on it, not to really overemphasize the Buddhism part of the teachings, that it's really their universal teachings in his own words. So we're looking at it that way as well. And on the back of your the order of service, if you have that, you have the discernment kind of summarized in some phraseology. The title is Engaged Buddhism, Collective Awakening and Beloved Community. And we are a community. We like to consider ourselves a beloved community, and we like to think about our services and our activities as being part of our collective awakening. And in the month of March, the first 3 months, the first quarter of the year, we've been really focusing on this concept of interbeing, or sometimes known as interconnectivity, how we are all interconnected with each other, with ourselves, with our higher selves, with the world around us, the natural world, with the human world, with the non-human world, with this cosmos, with the earth, with the cosmos, the stars, and the universe, and the other planets, and the other galaxies. It goes on, and he even talks about our interconnectivity with times past, times present, and times future. So it's a big concept, and it can be thought about in many different ways from many different perspectives. And this month, in the month of March, we've been focusing on interbeing with the cosmos and using the energy of the warrior. And I'll just briefly explain that. In Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings, in this particular treatise, he talks about 3 energies that exist within each human being. And they exist within us hopefully in balance with each other. There's the energy of the meditator, the contemplative meditator. There's the energy of the artist, which means the creative part of us, not limiting that to visual art necessarily, but any kind of artistic expression would be considered the energy of the artist, like the music we just heard from Steve, for example, or many, many other, like the beauty we see when we go out on a walk and see the flowers coming into bloom and the colorful birds returning back from their migration. All of that is part of the artistry in us that's appreciating the artistry of the earth. And then the third energy is the energy of the warrior. And the energy of the warrior is the energy of I like to think of it as the determination of the warrior. And a spiritual warrior in particular, we have to kind of separate it from a worldly warrior, especially when the world is at war, which is a scary thought. And we don't want to glorify that kind of a warrior. I don't feel comfortable glorifying that kind of a warrior. However, the spiritual warrior is something very different. The spiritual warrior is the warrior within us that works hard to overcome obstacles that we face in life, frustrations that are put in our path, or barriers to us achieving our goals and gaining more happiness and joy and purpose in life. The warrior within us is the one who faces struggles, which we all do, and faces it with determination, with a positive, joyful energy, and with a kind of inspiration to himself, herself, and others. And of course, that's just, okay, that's my 5-second take on it. And we're getting a lot of different takes on what it means to be a spiritual warrior. And today, we're going to be getting some interesting insights on that by our friend Steve Kramer. And I want to call your attention to his little bio, which he provided for us. Steve is an inner spiritual minister. He's a poet. He's an artist. And he enjoys encountering the divine in all of nature, of which we are a part. He has a BS in biology, and that gives him a very good appreciation of the intricately complex miracles we are. He's learned from many indigenous spiritual teachers who've been willing to share their wisdom. He's retired from 30 plus years of being a hospice nurse in 2021. He was a hospice nurse for our own Reverend Karen Lindquist when she passed. And this has always meant a lot to me. Thank you, Steve. Since then, he's been exploring other spiritual paths such as Buddhism, Sufism, and Hinduism. And his ministry has evolved into being co-coordinator for the spirituality and environment pillars of the Charter for Compassion, which many of you who've been here for a while know we're very much a part of the Charter for Compassion group. And we had a visit by Karen Armstrong when she was writing that, helping to write that Charter for Compassion, and we have a copy of it in the vestibule there, the actual document. He also serves on the board of Northwest Interfaith here in Seattle, and he's trying to return the favor that he's been given from Mother Earth on this path. And he wrote us a little haiku, which is part of his expression of artistry. You, a light worker, a warrior, radiating light to the cosmos. So let's welcome Steve for a wonderful service this morning. Thank you for sharing, Steve.
Thank you, Sally Jo. And thank you so much, all of you who are here. It's delightful seeing you this morning. I would like to start off with a water blessing. Today's presentation is a continuation of one that I did at the end of November. And this water blessing is similar to the one that those of you who were there on that day, it'll be a repetition of that one. And so I will lead us through it. Actually, I'm going to use the mic stand, I think. Thank you, guys. Okay, the blessing I'll lead us through was passed on by my Indigenous teachers from the Southwest. And I invite each of you to come up to the center altar, and there's glasses of water there. Or if you have a cup of tea or water with you, you can use that as well. And So I invite you to, pick up a glass and then return to your seats. Oh, okay, yes. I think we're short. Oh, okay. So is everyone covered then? Okay. So several of the indigenous groups acknowledge water in a very special way. The Northwest has their own way of doing water blessings, which are song-based primarily. And this is a very different way, one which acknowledges the seven directions, and I'll talk you through it, and then we can do it together. So it's easier if we do this by standing, and I'd like to start by acknowledging the circle, which is one of the, from an indigenous perspective, that's one of the most common and most powerful energies that we work with. And acknowledging the circle that our glass or cup carries in terms of the rim of the cup. So I ask you to just place your finger by the rim, and the east is that way, so you can start in the east, and then move to the south, which is behind me, and just go in a circle with intention. And thank the circle for all of its gifts. And those of you at home, I definitely invite you to do the same thing. And next we'll acknowledge the directions with our glasses or cups. So being here in the, for me it's a little tricky in terms of, I walk with two different indigenous groups. In the Plains tribes, they walk the circle in a sunwise direction, going from east, south, west, north. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we walk in a counterclockwise direction, east, north, west, and south. So I'm always juggling those two around. The reason we do it counterclockwise in the Northwest is that's the direction that water naturally swirls. If you look at a creek or when there's whirlpools in Puget Sound, it will always be counterclockwise. So that's why we honor the directions in a counterclockwise circle here. So we'll do it that way. So let's turn to the east and invite the energies of the east to bless the water that you're holding. And pour all the love and your gratitude into this water as well. It's the water of life. when each of us is born, prior to being born, we're bathed with water in our mother's womb. And at the start of our life in this world, our mother shed her water so that we may be born. So in gratitude to the East and all the gifts, may the East bless this water. Then turn to the North. And ask the North to bless this water. This is the direction of the snows, of the cold that the clouds bring, that some of our plants need to thrive. And ask it to bless this water as well. Now turn to the west. Home of the salmon people. And ask the West and all the wonderful alliances of the West to bless this water. Now turn to the south. And ask the energies of the south, the alliances of the south, including the warmth of the sun that brings us springtime, that thaws the ice and the snows, and gives us warmth so that we may all thrive. And ask the alliances of the south to bless this water. And we can turn to face the center now. And ask our dear Mother Earth to bless this water from whence this wonderful gift came. And raise your glass or cup to the skies and ask the sky beings, including Father Sun, the clouds, Grandmother Moon, to bless this water as well. And now can bring it down and bring it to your hearts. And ask the center and ask that divine spark in your heart to bless this water and send as much love as you can to this water and thank it for all the ways that it blesses our lives. And now I invite us to take a couple sips, or a good drink if you like, and save at least a little bit of the water, which we will pour back into one of the jugs by the altar. And I'll ask for a volunteer after today's service to share that with the plant beings outside and return it to Mother Earth. Oh, thank you. You may sit down now. With my presentation today, I'll pick up a little bit on parts of my story that I did not share last time. So, and with the focus of with our being called to be a spiritual warrior, or in the Southwest tradition that I'm part of, our teachers say that we're being called to be psychic warriors or light workers. And I really resonate with the term light workers. I think all of us here are light workers. We spread our light, that spark of divinity in our hearts, with those around us to the best of our abilities. And that makes us a light worker. One of the most important things that I've been taught is to be a warrior, it's really helpful to be grounded. And in today's chaotic world, that is such a challenge. So I would like to lead us through a grounding exercise. And I know some of you were at Brother Jamal's class yesterday, and he did a sort of similar grounding exercise using a tree, from my understanding, but I did not see it. My grounding exercise also involves a tree. It will be a little bit different, though. So I will like to guide us through this meditation and invite you to coast along with it. And if doing guided meditations like this is new to you, or if you're uncomfortable with it, don't be hard on yourself. It can take getting used to, and just go with the flow. And if you're sitting in a chair, it can be really helpful to uncross your legs, rest your feet on the floor, and make yourselves comfortable. Providing your feet can reach the floor. I see you struggling over there. I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable with that, or you can partly close them if that's more comfortable. And take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Deep breath in and out. Listen to those sounds from outside this building. Listen to any sounds within this room. Listen to the sound of your own breathing. I invite you to picture yourself standing in a park or forest, or standing by a favorite tree. If one does not come in mind, you might ask our dear Earth Mother to provide you with a spirit tree for this meditation, for she is definitely willing to do that. All you need to do is ask. And even if you cannot picture a tree with your mind's eye, know that she is there, for you can trust our dear Earth Mother to gift you with one. As you stand by your friend tree, allow Earth Mother to hold you and drain all your worries away, down through your legs, down to your feet, then out the bottoms of your feet and into the earth, where Earth Mother can receive all your worries and anxieties. Remember to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel your tree's strength, her presence at your side. Sense her roots and her deep sacred connection with Mother Earth. Feel her strong trunk as she reaches up to embrace Father Sun, to bask in the warmth of his light. Feel her branches dancing gently with the touch of Brother Wind. Sense her fresh green leaves soaking up oxygen from the air. Feel her slow sense of time with the cycle of day as well as night, which is blessed by luminous Grandmother Moon. Breathe in and out. Feel her deep connection with the circle of the year as she moves from one season to the next, to the next. And as she's starting to wake up this spring with the warming of the air and the soil where she's rooted. Feel how protected she is by her bark. You might even imagine that you have your own bark around you, which can act as a extra layer in your aura or a shield to keep out those things that might be harmful. And allow in only those things that are helpful for you. I invite you to go to your heart center. And send down roots from your heart center, down your legs, down through the soles of your feet, down into Mother Earth. Let those roots go through the leaves, the humus, as they twist and turn around rocks and earthworms and beetles, and sink down deeper and deeper into Mother Earth. And ask her to allow you to set your roots down to the depth which you deserve. And to those depths that can help you be grounded. take comfort in your sweet connection with Mother Earth as your roots are embraced by her. And send love to her through your roots. And soak up her love and her nutrients through your roots and bring them back up to your heart center. And have a lovely exchange back and forth. Send love down to her and allow her to send her love and nourishment up to you. Take a deep breath in and out. In and out. Ask our dear Mother Earth if you can carry this root with you throughout the day as a temporary root. And it can follow you wherever you go. Take some of the love that Mother Earth sent up to your heart center and send that upward through the top of your head, through your crown chakra, and up through energetic limbs, up to Father Sky. And picture yourself as having limbs and branches and leaves that can soak up the light and the warmth and the love of Father Sun and Grandmother Moon and the stars at night. Send love to them and gratitude. And allow them to send their love and their support down through your crown chakra and into your heart center. Take a deep breath in and out. Picture this love that Father Sky and Mother Earth have given you, and let that spread through your body, through the fluids and cells and tissues and organs. And allow them to give you a lovely recharge and energy for today. I invite you to give gratitude to Father Sky and gratitude to Mother Earth. And feel the love that they both have for you. And especially our dear Earth Mother and her deep sense of peace and tranquility. And she has a message for you. You have a right to be here. Never forget this. Remember, you are not alone. I am always with you. You can connect with me whenever you want. I am also with your fellow two-leggeds, your sisters and brothers, nourishing them as well. You are not alone. Let your community support you. You have a right to be here. Take a deep breath in and out. In and out. I invite you to listen to the sound of your own breathing and the sounds within this room. And gently come back to the here and now. And open your eyes when you're ready. After an exercise like this, it can be helpful to do a sealing on it. And what my teachers have us do is you rub your hands together until you feel a little heat there and place them over your heart. And if you need a little bit more sealing, rub your hands together again and place them over your solar plexus. And you can rub them again if you like. And palm your hands over your eyes and share that heat with your ears and your eyes and the rest of and you can sweep it down your arms and your legs. Oh, welcome back. So I'd like to share a couple things from my story in terms of where I'm at today. And so I've referred to being part of a Southwest tradition. I've had Indigenous teachers based out of Denver and Albuquerque for almost 25 years now. And I've also off and on I've followed the Northwest traditions and have been part of Sis Wynn Clay's medicine circle now for about 2 years. She does a lovely medicine circle here. If you haven't checked it out, I invite you to do so. There's other groups around that I also participate in. And my first teacher was Cheyenne Lakota gentleman, and he started me on this path. Steve Leo Coyote in the mid-90s. And so a lot of the teachings have just really centered me or brought me to a deeper connection with Mother Earth and all of the beings that surround us, what we tend to call our alliances that walk with us in this world or fly above us and crawl below us, and that we can draw from these beings to help us out as they have lessons and messages for us and different energies to share with us. And one of the most powerful paths that I've been involved in that I had not shared is the way of the pipe. Sometimes it's called the medicine pipe, or colonizers tended to call it the peace pipe, although that's a simplification. On the altar is a picture of white buffalo calf woman who brought the original medicine pipe to several different tribes, primarily in the Midwest area and in Canada. And she appeared to several tribes, and it seemed to be like maybe roughly around 200 years ago. I mean, these traditions have all been passed along orally, so it's a little hard to tell, but that's a general guess. She seemed to appear like roughly around the same century or two, and in different ways for each tribe, because each tribe has their own structure and their own needs, their own strengths and their own weaknesses. And she came to them and offered the medicine pipe as a way of centering themselves and pulling their communities together to help them get through the tough times that would be coming with the colonization of their lands. And the tribes did not know what was heading their way, but she essentially gave them a warning that they needed to be prepared for something. And the medicine pipe was the way to do it. So I rarely bring this out, but I felt like I needed to today if I was to be authentic with you all. So this is my pipe bundle, and I've had it I made it about 7 years ago or so, and I would, in the tradition I've been following in the Southwest, I've been a pipe student for about 15 years. I'm not what they would call a pipe carrier yet. I still have some hoops to jump through. Haven't quite made it that far, but I'm working on it. But this is the most sacred object that I have. And it just, for me, I think of it as sort of in a simplified form. It's like a portable altar that I can carry with me. It's, with the pipe, it holds the energies. What's common to the different tribes are that the the pipe contains the energies of the stem, or the wood contains tree energy or related to Father, Son, and the sky. And the stone bowl carries the feminine energies of Mother Earth. And you keep them separate unless you're actively praying with them. And then you join, if the pipe's willing to work with you, you join them together. And in that joining of the masculine and the feminine, the pipe becomes alive. And it has, carries the energies of universal altruism, universal acceptance, universal neutrality, and universal love. And those are its main attributes. And indigenous tribes tend to, each tribe has their own different way of working specifically with the pipe or when they bring it out. But they bring it out especially in times of need or when they have tough decisions to make, or if the village is having an especially tough time, to call forth those energies to help their community. And as a pipe student, I'm learning to bring it out at times when I'm especially uncentered or ungrounded or need some extra help. And it's really only been in the last year that I really felt that I've made a connection to white buffalo calf women. And for me, her energy is very similar or related to Our Lady of Guadalupe, who I've also experienced and who we have represented by the candle up here. And actually, I was online last evening and looking up pictures of white buffalo calf women and found one where she was holding hands with Our Lady of Guadalupe, and some artists had them holding each other's hands as sisters. And I thought that really made a whole lot of sense for me. Yeah, it's hard to say, I wanted to share this with you. The pipe, it deserves to be treated with a lot of respect. And that it pains me when I go into shops and I sometimes see sellers where a pipe bowl is connected to the pipe stem, and it really shouldn't be that way. That's just so disrespectful. Yeah. So anyway, this is a big part of my learning curve in terms of where I'm at now. And also part of my journey has taken an interesting turn just in the last 6 months. I feel like I'm really branching out, and I've had other sort of spiritual encounters where, 2 years ago, it was like Hanuman reached out to me, and I didn't really know anything about Hanuman except he was a monkey god. And so I got a very strong message about, do not ignore me. And so I've been delving into the learning more about Hanuman and what he's about in the Hindu path, studying Buddhism more, and definitely have been learning more about Islam and Sufism since I've been here for the last couple years. So I definitely, that's why I see myself as an inner spiritual being and minister in terms of its, I definitely, for me, religion or spirituality is not a one size fits all. So I borrow from a lot of traditions and they just all resonate with me. I'd like to, I'm looking at the time. And do we have about like maybe 10 minutes? Is that, okay. So last time in November, we went through a process of making prayer sticks. And notice went out asking if you made prayer sticks then to bring them today. I also have a bag under the altar with some sticks that have been started, if you don't have any. And I invite you to, if you don't have a prayer stick, just reach your hand, and if you're open to this, just reach into the bag and don't look, but just go with your hand and just sense which one's calling you and pick up that prayer stick. And you can ask it if it's willing to work with you, first of all, and then if it would like to be decorated. And we can take like maybe 5 minutes, and I have some art supplies in the corner over there on a card table, and you can pick up pictures. There's some ribbon and some plastic animals that you could tie to your prayer stick. You can take the pictures home, either glue them on your prayer stick. There's glue dots also. Or you could take the pictures and there's envelopes and put them in the envelope and then glue them on at home. But I'll give you a few minutes and I'll play another song and we'll reconvene, and then I'll guide us through a short meditation that you can do that we'll do with the prayer sticks here, and explain like how you can work with them at home. Sure. Yeah. Thank you. invite us to go through a little meditation with the prayer stick. And if you aren't through with decorating it, that's fine. You can continue when you have a chance. And this is the format that my current teachers taught me years ago in terms of how to work with them. So I like to start off with, usually I do it with my eyes closed. Sometimes I have them open and I'm looking at them. And sometimes I take my prayer sticks for walks and just connect with them while I'm walking in the forest or going for a walk around the block. We see the prayer sticks as when we start decorating them, and the more we give them attention, the more alive they are. And it follows the belief that, everything has a spirit, from stones to sticks to everything in nature. So this is alive, it has a spirit, and it's willing to connect with you. So there's a couple questions that I've been taught to ask. And you might come up with your own, but a good question to start with is, what do you have to show and tell? So I invite you to ask your prayer stick that, and we'll pause for a minute, and then I'll have another question. And the next question is, what do you have to share and teach me? And if you're not hearing a response, that's okay, especially if you're new to doing something like this. It's easier to hear what sticks are saying the more you work with them. So I would encourage you, don't give up. Just, keep giving it a go. And at some point, you'll have a message for you. Another good question is there anything else that it has to say at this time? Then the last question is, how would it like to work with you? In terms of where to go from here with them, I know several of you have placed them on home altars, which is a great place to have them. Your prayer stick may want you to do something else. I have a couple by my computer, actually, and they have volunteered to help me ground. And so if I'm feeling ungrounded during a meeting, I'll have one in my lap, or I find it even helpful, I'll note like which way it was growing. So like if this was a tree, the roots would be out here, and I'll just touch it to the floor. And it's like, if I'm anxious or something, these sticks can help me ground just like that. And so that might be something you might try, or you might find another stick that volunteers to help you ground. Also, the alliances that are on your stick may have specific messages for you as well. That's why they spoke to you through your hand, and they have some message that they'll share with you at some point. So thank you so very much for participating today. I'll turn it over to you, Sally Jo.
Oh, thank you, Steve. What a beautiful, meaningful service you've given us. I don't know if anyone has any reflections or Q&A, but let's hold that until when we turn off the live streaming. And I do want to invite people to share their wealth with us this morning. And if that's possible and the way is open for you, we do encourage people to make an offering to the community so that we can continue to offer the beautiful services and keep this historic building alive and well. And functioning in the world, and we thank the people online who can give via the website, interfaithcommunitysanctuary.org, and there are ways to give on that make it easy for you. There are QR codes in the program if you prefer to give that way, and we do deeply appreciate the time, the energy, and the offerings that come to us during the services and all the different activities that we have here. So thank you so much for sharing your wealth with us. We have many upcoming gatherings every week. Monday morning, Chiaki sends out an announcement of the coming week gatherings that are coming, the special events if there are classes, classes that meet weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, bi-weekly, all different sorts of combinations of activities that we welcome all to participate in whatever calls to you, and to get the details from the website again, or if you get those announcements, you can sign up to get those announcements on the website. They come out, it just comes out every Monday. And we do encourage you to explore what speaks to you in these times, so that this is not really just a Sunday morning sort of organization. We do keep in touch with our people all week long, and we hope to have that continue. And if anyone has something special to mention about special gatherings, this would be the time to wave your hand and let me know. I think next Sunday I want to mention that we have a 5th Sunday in March, and I've been working with the Baha'i friends. Some of us, we know we have some Baha'i friends who come to our services occasionally, and we were trying to work out a time when they could come at a first Sunday, but the first Sundays weren't working out in terms of timing for them based on our calendars. So I did invite 2 wonderful friends, Luke and Naya, who are coming on next Sunday, which is a 5th Sunday, to share their insights and experiences with the Baha'i Holy Days, which are coming up in April. And they're also based on the spring equinox and the coming of spring and the celebration of the new year and so on. So it seemed like a beautiful time to do that. And our, the 5th Sunday comes up just 3 or 4 times a year, and often we have congregant conversations on those times. But we're going to flip that around and have our conversation on another Sunday, so we can have our Baha'i friends present this month. It just seems like it was a good choice to make. So we will be welcoming Luke and Naya next Sunday, and we hope you'll be here to join us and hear more about the Baha'i Holy Days from them. And they'll bring some musical offerings and wonderful practices for us as well. So at this time, I think we'll say goodbye to our friends online and thank them for being here, and ring the bell for them so they know that the service is concluded in that sense. And I do want to give, I know it's getting late, but I do want to give an opportunity for anyone who has anything to share this afternoon, from either from your experience here in the circle or from your outside life, anything that's on your heart that you would like to share with the group. We can do that now and take a few minutes and